Burkina Faso's history is marked by decades of instability, a relentless cycle of coups, and a staggering turnover of 8 presidents, most of whom have emerged from the military ranks. The nation, grappling with political turbulence, witnessed a series of military takeovers, with each leader facing challenges from within their own ranks. But what makes this part of the world so tumultuous? The reasons run deeper than one might imagine. Let's take a closer look at Burkina Faso's political scene and discover the ills eating up this small nation. A year ago, the ominous news flashed across our television screens. Another West African country succumbed to a coup d'etat. Burkina Faso joined the ranks of Mali and Guinea, countries now under the grip of military rule. The man at the helm leading the coup was Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba. He asserted that the ousted government had failed to quell the rising tide of terrorism and jihadist activities in the northern part of the country. He quickly took the role of Burkina Faso president in a hurried swearing-in ceremony. Surprisingly, Damiba's tenure at the top was short-lived. Just 8 months into his leadership, his junior officers, led by Ibrahim Traoré, orchestrated yet another coup. Traoré, the new leader, echoed Damiba's claims of incompetence in dealing with the terrorist threat and accused Damiba of disregarding the counsel of his junior officers. Traoré actually said that he had made trips to Ouagadougou in attempts to establish contact with Damiba regarding the terrorist issue, but his efforts proved fruitless. In yet another coup attempt, a faction in the military tried to overthrow Traoré in September, but was unsuccessful. In the midst of this saga, one clear observation emerges. There may be underlying issues within the military that demand attention and resolution. It has been argued that President Roch-Marc Kabore often referred to the military for advice before acting on countering the jihadists. But the military efforts to deal with the terrorists yielded no results, begging the question, would this incapability to deal with terrorists indicate something wrong with the army? Would it be a level of incompetence from the army's side? It's somewhat perplexing. This army, which couldn't quite handle the terrorists on the front lines, now thinks it's the solution just by simply settling in the presidential palace. What logical sense does that even make? The former democratically elected president had in wisdom appointed a commission of inquiry to investigate and report on the terrorist incident that occurred at a location called Inata. Over 50 soldiers had been ambushed and killed at Inata in November 2021. Shockingly, on the very day the report was to be handed over and tabled for everyone to see, Paul-Henri Damiba instigated a coup. This has raised a lot of questions. The final report was supposed to highlight the dysfunctions of the army at the origin of many routs in the face of terrorists. Was the report finally going to expose the rot in the Burkinabe military? Well, your guess is as good as mine. To address this glaring situation, certain politicians in Burkina Faso defended the military. They highlighted a significant hindrance in the form of inadequate resources and military equipment, particularly citing the lack of aerial monitoring devices and armored vehicles. These deficiencies, they argued, posed a major obstacle to the military's efforts against the jihadists. That notwithstanding, it is rumored that the Burkina Faso army is not just divided, it's allegedly fractured along clan lines. A startling claim suggests that military leaders and non-commissioned officers are not on the same page, speaking different languages both literally and figuratively. The consequence? A military unit plagued by disunity. This revelation partially unveils the hidden reasons fueling the recurrent coups in Burkina Faso. In the aftermath of the 2014 overthrow of former President Blaise Compaoré, Burkina Faso witnessed not just a change in leadership, but a profound weakening of its military forces. The once unified defense system crumbled, leaving the nation's security in disarray. Shockingly, the revelation surfaced that the security apparatus was designed to shield the regime, not the people or the nation. This stark reality exposes a military that, instead of embodying a true republican spirit, mirrors the socio-political divisions undermining the progress of the entire country. As if that is not enough, the very fabric of law is falling apart in Burkina Faso. The once revered constitution lies discarded, a relic of a bygone era, as adherence to its principles is now a rarity. Corruption, like a wildfire, spreads unchecked, consuming the nation. Worse still, a toxic atmosphere of hatred pervades the people, turning what was once unity into a situation of divisiveness. The erosion of legal foundations and the surge of corruption and animosity create a perfect storm, threatening the very essence of Burkina Faso's existence. Adding to the chaos, Burkina Faso finds itself deeply fractured. Three distinct camps emerge, each with its allegiance. The loyalists of Compaoré, fervent supporters of ousted President Kabore's People's Movement for Progress, and those who see the putschists as the Messiah. In the bitter struggle for control of Kosiam Palace, these factions harbor intense animosity, eagerly wishing misfortune upon one another. The air is thick with insolence, arrogance, and blind rage that serves as the fuel for a chaotic and tumultuous day. Taking a step back, once Paul-Henri Damiba got to power, he quickly forgot the agenda that put him in the presidential palace in the first place. He started following the tracks of his predecessors by failing to prioritize the burning terrorist threat. He instead shifted his focus to the reorganization of the administration and the reconciliation of the Burkina Faso citizens, something that is miles away from what really pains the Burkinabe people. To the amazement of many, Damiba locked himself in, refusing to listen to his comrades in arms as security became a concern. Shockingly, Damiba's rise to power failed to stem the tide of terrorists, and today, an alarming 40% of the territory is under the grip of jihadists. Towns such as Nuna, Solenzo, and Goro have succumbed to their control. This dire scenario incited the anger of soldiers like Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who seethe with frustration at the deteriorating state of affairs. In a move that sparked intense controversy, Damiba extended an invitation to Blaise Compaoré for a reconciliation summit. The former president, alleged to have orchestrated the assassination of Burkina Faso's revered Thomas Sankara, was greeted with widespread public outrage in the country's capital. Not only that, the majority of Burkina Faso's former presidents invited by Damiba opted to stay away. Instead of achieving its intended purpose of projecting political unity in the midst of escalating violence by Islamist militants, the summit ended up deepening divisions, plunging the nation into further chaos. After the overthrow in 2014, Blaise Compaoré was chased out of the country by a popular uprising and fled to the neighboring country of Côte d'Ivoire. A life sentence was later imposed on him on April 6, 2022, for his role in the assassination of Thomas Sankara on October 15, 1987. That is why many considered his visit as a de facto pardon, a desecration of the memory of Sankara, and a bonus of impunity. Truly, Damiba had become disconnected from both the political scene and the Burkinabe people in just a few months in power. To sum it up, Burkina Faso is in deep, murky waters. It surely needs the support of ECOWAS to make its institutions strong. It needs the international community to create a robust defense apparatus for the nation. And above all, it needs informed citizens. One cannot lead or develop a country by a series of coups d'état. What is needed is a constitutional order respected by all, a Republican army assigned to the task of protecting the territory and the institutions, and a workforce free from victimhood.